Hello guys, and welcome to another YouTube tutorial. On today's tutorial I would be explaining how I color grade my designs, and this is a reply to the comments on one of my videos where someone asked, how do you color grade? So this happens to be one of the very big questions most designers get to struggle with when they start out in their design career. I was also at this point, but I tried to learn it in my own unique way, and it has been working for me so far so good. So in today's tutorial I'll be explaining how to color grade using gradient map. So I'll be using this particular design to explain how I color grade. So if you look at this design, well, you would notice that you have two pictures here. You have two same pictures, but if you look at it well, you notice that you have two different forms or two different color grades on both pictures or on both artworks. If you look well, right, two different color grades. So if you look here, this the color grade here generally looks so much reddish, while that of this looks really quite pale and with a little lemonish greenish thingy going all around his face and all. Alright, so I'll be explaining how I achieved that for both designs on this tutorial. So without wasting much time, we'll just get straight into it. So there are a couple of ways to color grade in Photoshop. There is the camera raw form of color grading, where you have the color wheels. Right, you come up to filter, right, under filter, then go to camera raw. Okay, it brings up this. All right, so under here you have particular option to color grade. All right, so that's this. Okay, so you have your shadows, highlights, and midtones. Basically those are the three basic foundations for color grading. All right, what affects the highlights, what affects the shadows, and what affects the midtones. All right, so you have all of this here: shadow, midtones, highlights, and the rest. All right, but I really don't like using this because I have not grown that color accurate to make use of this color wheel. All right, so I try a different approach. So there are a couple of other things or a couple of other ways to actually color grade. All right, aside this camera raw, using camera raw filter. So the one I really use every single time is gradient map. So I'll explain what the gradient map means. So how do I get my gradient map first? All right, you come to your dialog box, then to your software. You have this circle that has one side to it white and the other side black. You click on it, then you come down to gradient map. So there are two. There's one for gradients, then there's another for gradient map. So this gradient map is what I use to color grade. All right, so I click on it. Once I click on it, it brings up this gradient map properties. Right, so I'll now have to click on this stuff here. All right, then it brings up my gradient editor. So here I'm able to select or look for a template of colors that works well for my particular design and all of that. So practically the aim of every color grade, or the aim of color grading your designs, is to really get your designs to look very, very homogeneous, meaning everything in design looks the same, like looks together, looks well put together. Do you understand? That's basically what color grade is. So just imagine you making a cup of tea. All right, you making a cup of tea, when you make a cup, what makes it a cup of tea is the fact that you add condiments that are meant to be used for tea. Do you understand? So it's homogeneous. So imagine in that condiment for tea, you now add something like pineapple. All right, it's no longer tea and it doesn't look homogeneous. All right, imagine in that cup of tea you now add salt. All right, it's no longer tea. You understand? It's no longer homogeneous. You will taste it and your taste buds will actually reject it. Do you understand? So that's basically what color grading helps you do. It helps you make your design look compact, look together, look put together. Do you understand? And have the same color tone. All right, that's actually the right word, the same color tone for your design. So if you look at some, there are some designs you might come across on the internet that you look at, the picture looks like it's a separate element from the design. Those are designs that were not properly color graded. But once you see properly color graded designs, you see everything moves together, everything looks together. The color on the subject face is in agreement with the color of the background and all of that. Everything is just in very good color harmony. All right, so that's just to explain that. So basically what I do once I start color grading, especially if or when I started out, this is what I do. Once I get this gradient map here, all right, I make sure is not on the max. Make sure the box is on the color grade itself, this gradient thumbnail itself. All right, then I hide it. All right, I just close the eyes. All right, so I'm able to see what I'm doing here, and this would serve as a guide to how I color grade, like the whole design or the background or a reference point to serve to what to the color I want to use to color grade. All right, so once I do that, I just open this up. All right, open this up. So now looking at this particular design, yeah, this particular artboard here, and basically I tell people, try to make sure your color grading is one of the last things you do when working on a design. Make sure it's one of the last things you do when working on a design. Okay, so yeah, having said that, you look at this design, look at this artboard. All right, you look at the colors here. Basically you don't have too much colors here. You just have this lemon, you have black, and already the color of his face is brown and all of that, you get. So I'm meant to look for or pick colors that will be homogeneous with all of this. All right, so let me turn off what I did before. Practically this is what I have before. All right, so I'll just turn it off. All right, I'll do something different. So this is it. This is what the different thing I have here. So I'll be explaining what this bar now does. All right, so like we saw in the camera raw filter, we saw midtones, we saw your highlights, and we saw the shadows. It's the same thing that plays out here. All right, so moving from left to right, from this point to this point, anytime you see a color bar like this, basically you should automatically know that the left side happens to be the darker side, which are the shadows, while the right side happens to be what's the lighter side, which are the highlights. Then the midpoint is where you now have your midtones. All right, so if you look at his face here currently, all right, you practically have the all three represented. All right, you have the highlights, all right, somewhere here, this brightest part of his face is the highlight. All right, you have the shadows, the very darker parts, you find them close to his beard, close to the sides, all right, here, all right, somewhere here. All right, so where you find the shadows. Then the midtones are all these middle parts. All right, the not so dark, not so light parts, those in between is where you find the midtones. So what this just goes to say is that this particular bar would now, the colors you pick here would now affect the subject or affect your overall design. All right, so that's basically what it means. So I would come here to the left. So since I want this picture to blend with this, I have a blend of this color. I should have a blend of this color somewhere on his face. All right, so it's a light color, meaning it would affect definitely the highlights. All right, depending on the type of color, depending on what you're going for. All right, so I come here. Basically I look for my I come here. Once I come here, I come to my colors. Once I click on it, it brings up the eyedropper tool. Then I'm now able to pick on his face and look for where the darker sides are, which somewhere here. Okay, this is fine. I could bring this down a little bit. All right, this brown. All right, it's very dark. This dark brown for his face. I could okay it. Then I could now come to the highlight. All right, and pick this particular color. So I have a blend of these two stuff. So I can now move my dial to whatever parameter works for me. All right, so I practically love using two colors, as the shadows and the highlights. So the midtones basically just take care of themselves as a blend of both my shadows and the highlights. So I just okay this. Okay, once I okay this, then I turn this back on. So turning this back on, see what I have this very cumbersome looking thingy. So no cause for alarm. I just come to my blend mode. All right, under my blend mode, I come straight down to soft light. All right, under soft light, I'll just reduce my opacity to where I know would make sense for the design. So all right, somewhere here is cool. Somewhere at 27, or I reduce it to like 20 and all of that. So there you go. This is the after, this is the before, this is the after. All right, so you see how it blends so well with this, with all of this. Do you understand? So sometimes you can decide to just make your gradient map or your color grading just typically for the picture you're working on, not the whole design. So now currently this color grade is affecting the whole design. All right, but if I just want it specifically for his face, what do? I get to the picture. All right, let me delete this. So I make sure I put the gradient map over the subject I want to color grade over. All right, then once I click on it, I come down here to this thing that shows you to max over. All right, what this means is just for you to max this layer over the layer that is below it. All right, so that's what I'll just click on it. Boom, and once I click on it, it's max over this. Or I can right click over the gradient map, then I'll come down to create clipping mask. All right, then I click on it, it's map. So basically it's just affecting just this layer below it. So before, after, before, after. All right, very nice stuff. So same thing goes for this particular one. All right, for this particular one, so I'll just turn off this. Okay, this is gradient fill. Okay, let me lock this so it doesn't affect us. So I'll look for this. So this is the gradient map that is over him. All right, so this is what you have here. So let's try to see if we can, let's try to come up with something different. So this is his picture. All right, this is name, turn up the vibrance. This is the picture. All right, here. So to an extent we need to add a little bit of color grade. So if you look at this, this is predominantly red. All right, although it has this orange thingy, but it's predominantly red. All right, so we can do red throughout without a touch of this, or we can just add a touch of this. So let's see how it goes. I come down here, come slide straight down to gradient map. All right, so this is what it brings up automatically. So I just slide in here. Most times once you click on gradient map and it comes up, the box is always on the gradient marks. It's just like a default. So I think it's something that that Photoshop will need to work on. All right, so I'll just come on this adjustment layer and click on the adjustment layer. All right, so after clicking on the adjustment layer, I come straight into this. All right, so I come straight into this, the editor. Then I come here. Okay, first off, I'll make sure my stuff is turned off so that I'm able to see the colors. All right, so I come there, I click on my shadows. So I look for the dark part. So I'm not looking for black exactly, all right. Basically what I'm looking for is dark red. Right, dark red, where I can have my red as dark as possible. So yes, okay, I'm fine. So I come over here, I can pick on my very light red, or I say I'll pick a shade of this yellow, and pick a shade of this yellow. All right, and see what that gives me. So I'll just carry this up a little bit so that these yellows are really quite subtle. All right, then I okay it. Then I turn it back on. All right, this is what I have. All right, so I have currently. So no cause for alarm. Come to blend mode, come to soft light, then now drag this down, drag the way this all the way down, all the way to we are like so. 24 is a good spot for me, before, after. All right, so you see how it blends that into that particular design. So this is just for you to just go and experiment with and try it on your other designs, and see how it works for you. So yeah, I think this is the end of this tutorial, and if you got value from this, please don't forget to share, to comment, and also subscribe. So there you have it. See you guys in the next one. Bye.